Hi everyone. This month I wanted to work on improving my painting skills because I found that compared to other areas of art that I work in, like with watercolor or digital art or sketching in pencil, I feel like I really lack in the area of painting. So I wanted to do some exercises that would help improve my skills and to become a better painter. So I decided to paint a portrait from a reference photo and learn from that painting and then apply the knowledge that I gained from doing that first painting for my next one. So what I decided to do was find a reference photo to paint a portrait from because I really want to get better at drawing or painting faces rather, and paint that once, then analyze how I did and see what kind of things I need to work on, and then use that knowledge that I gained in that next painting so that I could gradually learn from it. So I did that first painting and the process went well enough. One of the areas that I found that I struggled the most in with painting is blending the colors because it's hard for me to find a good gradation between the colors. So going into that next painting, I really wanted to try and find some strategies to overcome that. And one of the things that I started to play around with was not using as much paint and adding some water to that so that the layers are more gradual and not a sudden color shift. And then another issue I ran into was having my portrait actually look like the reference photo that I was basing it off of. I felt that this painting that I did, the first one, did not really have a resemblance to the original reference photo. So with that next painting, I really wanted to get those proportions more accurate so that it will look more like the reference it's based off of. And one of those proportion issues that I mentioned was, you can see it here, it's the ear not being aligned correctly. So I'm trying to get it lined up with the eyebrow and the bottom of the nose. And whenever I painted that first painting, it was much lower than that, which I think it's a very subtle thing that I feel like you won't really notice unless I point out, but I want to work on that so that it looks more accurate. And then the next big thing is the jaw, which I feel really stands out. It's a very sharp edge right there, and it does not really align with what the reference photo shows. The reference photo has like a much more curved jaw, and I want to capture that more because it just makes it not really look like the model it's based off of. And I was mostly focusing on the head for that painting. So those colors with like the clavicle bone, it doesn't really look like the reference. But I wasn't really focusing on that. I would like to get that right next time, but that wasn't my biggest concern. So getting those fixed was my big goal. So going into my redo painting, I still have some issues with getting the proportions correct. One of those things is the eyes. I think I really need to work on how I paint eyes whenever I am outlining the painting, because they kind of just felt like they're plastered onto there and they don't really follow like the shapes of the head. So I think I need to do more outlining before I start my main painting. I think if I paint out, like the whole Loomis method head where you draw out each guideline on the face, I think it would be so much more accurate and would look much better because I'm not just eyeballing the proportions. So I'll be working on that. And then you can see as I work through this that the paint is very transparent. I added a lot of water for every layer that I did because I wanted to just get a slow, gradual addition of the shadows and the highlights and blending between them. And I think this strategy worked out pretty well so far. I obviously wasn't able to finish my painting, but I really liked how the painting came along while using this strategy. I can still really work on how I paint eyes. I think it'll just come with a lot of practice. So yeah, doing this exercise I feel like was a big help in improving how I paint portraits. I'm going to be continuing doing exercises like this because you get better with practice. And I'll finish up this painting not too far into the future so that there can be a complete comparison between the two. But this is just what I worked on so far. And yeah, I think whenever you look at the comparison between the two paintings, you can really see the difference there. And I feel like I learned a lot from this. So I'll see you guys in the next video.